From a distance, it looks like Betty Kemp of Powder Springs, Georgia, is sticking pins into a rolled-up sleeping bag. But that's from a distance. After you cross the yard and get to a position where you can get a closer look, you'll discover that Betty is making lace. Lace making is an ancient Flemish art that later spread over most of Europe. This is bobbin lace. Mrs. Kemp keeps track of 60 wooden spindles, or bobbins, wrapped with her linen thread. Her pillow is actually a special sack packed with straw. Using the pillow, the bobbins, and hundreds of brass pins, she literally weaves the lace. It's a slow process, but Betty claims it isn't hard. In fact, she teaches people to make lace, and many learn enough to start the first afternoon. Her bobbins look like a big charm bracelet, because at the end of each one is a clump of glass beads. What do all the little beads on the end of the bobbins mean?
The beads are there to give weight to the bobbins, because English bobbins are very, very light in themselves, and when the beads come off, they will not stay in place. In fact, I do have a bobbin here where the beads fell off, and that is giving me a lot of trouble because it keeps falling out of place. And the beads, as you can see, all my bobbins are falling in place. It's because of the weight of the beads that's keeping them in place.
The pattern she's weaving is called Buckinghamshire. She'll use it for a lace handkerchief. Every once in a while, Betty makes a little sound under her breath as she works, never loud enough for anybody to hear. Well, I discovered Betty Kemp's secret. When she makes lace, she talks to herself.
Sometimes I'm trying to get rid of the worries of the world. I'm trying to tell all the politicians what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And other times, if the family have just got a little bit too much for me, and as I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son, I think some people can understand how it does get you down sometimes. Then I have a go at them quietly to myself. It gets it out of my system, and then I don't have to worry about them anymore.
So would you recommend lace making as a tranquilizer?
I definitely would, yes. It is the most relaxing thing I know.
Handkerchiefs like Betty makes are not the kind that you use when you have a runny nose. They're the kind that any bride would proudly cherish for the rest of her life. With Betty Kemp, outside of Powder Springs, I'm Andy Johnston. That is really magnificent. That is something.